Okay, so welcome to the third week of our Lift the Spirits campaign. So this week we're talking immunity, which is of course incredibly important. At the moment it's forefront at all of our minds, probably too much so, but I hope you all had a good weekend, beautiful day today, which is needed, and that little bit of snow to play in is always good. But back to immunity. So, yoga for immunity. Yoga has the potential to influence pretty much every physiological process in the body, from muscle contraction to breathing, digestion, blood flow and circulation. When it comes to immunity, there are two systems in our body that are particularly important: the nervous system and the immune system. Unsurprisingly, immune system being one of them. So where does the nervous system come into this? So when we're stressed and our cortisol levels are rising, that cortisol level increase is going to affect our immune system, because one of the roles of cortisol is to dampen the immune response, which is very beneficial at times, but if our cortisol levels are too high, then it affects our immune response, which is of course incredibly important. So yoga is very beneficial, as we know, for the stress response. Today I'm going to specifically talk about the lymphatic system, because that's not talked about so much. So our immune system is built up of cells, tissues and organs that work together to protect the body and fight off infections and diseases. These defense cells are located in our white blood cells, are transferred around the body by the lymphatic system. And yoga can influence the function of the lymphatic system, which, while perhaps one of the best known and appreciated systems of the body, is the circulatory system, which you've got the heart pumping the blood around the body. The lymphatic system doesn't have the heart to rely on. It relies on the contraction, the squeezing of the muscles to push the lymph fluid around the body. And that's why yoga can be very good for it, because of all the squeezing, the inversion of gravity, so moving gravity around, because obviously we're usually walking around on our 2 feet and a lot of our fluid gets stagnated in the bottom of our feet. Healthy lymph fluid is a key component of a strong immune system, and yoga can help with that. So I'm going to show you a few poses today that work to help the flow of the lymphatic system, also open up the chest to help with the respiratory system, and importantly, pranayama is another key component alongside yoga asanas that really supports the immune system. Wednesday, I've got my pranayama teacher, Laurent, coming to do a little mini workshop with us, which is very exciting. So I'm not going to go into pranayama today, but we'll just do a little breath at the end of the poses, just some abdominal breathing, just getting into the diaphragm, because the diaphragm massages the abdominal organs. So that's very important. It helps to move lymph fluid, and the digestion system has a big part to play when it comes to our immune system. So with that diaphragm helping to massage those abdominal organs, one of them being the stomach and the digestion tract, etc., it really helps support that immune system boosting. And the last thing, a couple of the poses I'm going to do are going to work into the thymus gland. So the thymus gland sits behind the sternum, and it's very important when it comes to the immune system because it helps to train the T cells, which is one of those cells that we really need. That's all you need to know. So a couple of poses I'm going to do are going to work into the thymus and also the thyroid. So without further ado, I think I've probably chatted enough. I'm going to come onto the mat. Hopefully you can see me. I know it's quite bright today. So we're going to start off in child's pose, which is always a great pose to start with. I think most of my weeks I'm going to start in child's pose because it does play so many different important roles. If you come down, knees, big toes to touch, knees mat width apart, bring the sit bones towards your heels, arms outstretched, forehead resting down the mat. And you can take some good deep inhales here, really get some of that oxygen
into your body. Allow that oxygen to start moving around your body. It's a lovely pose to relax the abdominal muscles here and also to decongest this area of your body. It's a great pose for tension release as well, so for stress. And it's just a good pose to start off your little mini sequence. And you can stay here. You can stay here for as long as you like, but if you're aiming just to do a 5-10 minute sequence, just stay here for a couple of minutes. Make sure that you've taken some good deep breaths and just arrived and come into this place of semi-stillness and rest. And then you can bring yourself up and bring yourself into a seated position. And then we're going to come into some side bends. So opening up into the chest. Just very, very gentle, just flowing. You can flow with your breath here. And just really enjoy the movement and really breathe into the stretches in your side body. And then you can come down into a gentle twist. As we were talking about earlier, the importance of squeezing in the body and squeezing in yoga, which helps to move that lymph fluid around the body because it's reliant on that muscle contraction. So you can twist into the thoracic. As you're exhaling, gently twisting a little bit further. You can allow your neck just to be relaxed. You don't need to strain your neck. Drop your shoulders, root down into your sit bones, and then come through and twist onto the other side. And if you don't want to do such a deep twist, you can place your hand down in front. And then coming back. So we're going to come into a bridge, which I did a little mini workshop on Friday. So bridge is working into that thymus and thyroid gland. Again, it's a great chest opener. So again, as we're talking about, it's positively energizing, but it's also helpful at opening up that respiratory space. And it's a slight inversion. So working against gravity, allowing that lymph fluid just to start really moving. So I'm not going to do the mini workshop today. If you wanted to really see how bridge pose operates, you can check it out on my Instagram page. But just lifting your pelvis and then dropping down and rising up, really engaging those inner thighs, rooting down into the feet. You can bring your hands together, your shoulders just slightly under, lifting yourself up, really using your legs. It's a leg workout here. You can engage your glutes just at the top of your hammies and really push the pelvis up. And you can stay here for a count of 10 and maybe do 2 or 3 rounds. So in between, you can come down, bring yourself down vertebra by vertebra, and then bring your legs in for a squeeze and give your lower spine a bit of a massage. Rotate the other way. And then you can come back down and come up again and down. And do that a couple of times. Then we're going to come into fish pose, which is quite a strong pose. So you can do this supported. If you don't have a brick like this, you can use a book. You want to make sure you can see me. So you're lying, your legs are directly out in front of you. You have this book perpendicular, book or brick, perpendicular to your spine. And you're just bringing yourself over and letting yourself hang. If you want to bring your crown of your head to the mat, you can do, which is more of an extreme fish pose, but that really does open out the thyroid gland and really come into the thyroid and thymus. Brings it into more of a chest opener, or you can have your head just a little bit lighter, whichever you prefer. And you can have your arms in cactus arms here, which again gives you a lovely stretch down the front side of your arms. Or you can have your arms slightly more down by your side. So It's really up to you what feels comfortable. It's a lovely, really satisfying opening feeling here, so enjoy being in it. And again, you can stay in this pose for a couple of breaths if it feels quite intense, or if you're more enjoying it and your head is back, you can really come into some lion roars. Really let the air out. And then to finish off, very simple, onto your back, legs up, and you can place a block. Let's get a block or a book under your bum. That wasn't right. A much safer way to do that is come onto your bum and then lift up. Bring your legs up, so you're creating a very, just again, pelvis is just slightly raised, and you can just give your feet, just play with your feet a bit. Just get that fluid start moving down. You can kind of almost imagine it, right? It's just drawing that fluid down. This is a very therapeutic pose to stay in, particularly if you have the block and you have your legs up. It might not look it, but they're very happy to stay like that. Like, I know that's not relaxing. You know, I can just hang, quite literally hang there. You can stay here for a few moments, a few minutes if you want. And then release back down, safely take the block away from under your butt. And then you can come into your Shavasana for a few minutes. So legs out wide, bring one hand onto your belly, one hand onto your heart. And really do, before you rest fully into your Shavasana, just take 5 to 10 really deep abdominal breaths. Really breathe down into the bottom of your chest, allowing your diaphragm to raise, to feel that lift, that inhale, that exhale. Really allow the diaphragm to massage your abdominal organs. Really get that lymph fluid moving around your body. You can close your eyes, so take those 5 to 10 deep abdominal breaths. Then you can lay your arms down by your side and just take a few moments of complete stillness, effortless rest. Bring your body down to the mat, to ground, to rest, to restore. And then you can roll onto your right side and push yourself back up into a seated position. And you can finish your short sequence there. So that hopefully will give you a little bit of the science of why yoga is brilliant for the lymphatic system and therefore for immunity. Join me on Wednesday, where we're going to be joined by Laurent, my pranayama teacher, for a little workshop on breath. And until then, have a lovely week.